Mr. Pendergrass, welcome.
Thank you.
Please give us some background of your experience and tell us why you're running for County Commission.
My name is Cecil Pendergrass. I am currently and have been a resident of Lee County all my life. I was born and raised here in Lee County in District 2 for 47 years. I am married to my wonderful, beautiful wife, Jody, for 22 years as of this month. And have two children, 13 and 15. And pretty much that's a lot of the motivation behind my campaign for running for County Commission is, like I said, I live here all my life. I want to continue living here. In the last couple of years, I've seen a lot of things in local and national governments I didn't agree with. I have tried to make a difference in my life. My life has pretty much been 26 years as of today in public service in law enforcement. I retired in 2008 from the Fort Myers Police Department. Okay. I stayed on as a reserve officer. I did not want to physically retire. I wasn't too young to retire. And I stayed on as a reserve officer after I stayed on my job for 3 weeks, still doing the same job without getting paid. They couldn't kick me out of the building fast enough, so I told the chief, I said, just put me on as a reserve officer. I can come back and help out that way. Always been a public servant as far as trying to do the right thing. Go into that job trying to make a difference, trying to change the world. And after you do it for so long, you realize you can only make so much impact from certain positions. And the last 15 years of my job, I spent in community policing. I was involved with the community policing coordinator. I was pretty much the spokesperson between the chief and the mayor of the city of Fort Myers to local community groups, business community, the state and local governments. If there was an issue that came up between the police department, I was pretty much the spokesperson that went out that represented the agency on behalf of the city of Fort Myers or the police department for the community I was representing. Worked most of my time in the Dunbar Central Fort Myers community. I heard the needs and seen the needs every day of the citizens. I've seen the concerns. And working for the city, you're pretty much in a position where you see things. You can only question so much, you can only answer so much, you can only do so much. And I saw waste through my years of career, and I always was in a position where I always try to make a change in the system. I was pretty much the advocate 15, 20 years ago in law enforcement locally where, I was the one that realized we were wasting our time arresting people for being mentally ill or homeless. It's not a crime to be mentally ill or to be homeless. And I pretty much stood up to that position and said, hey, we need facilities here in Lee County. We need facilities here to deal with the issues we have. Kind of rocked the boat from the norm of the law enforcement back in the 25 years ago, where people did this, they go to jail. And I saw the waste. I saw that you incarcerated these people, and you 2 hours later they're back out, and the issue did not go away. They were standing in front of somebody else's business talking to themselves, or they're back on the road somewhere else homeless. So. Myself and Sergeant Dunaway began an area called Franklin Lincoln Park Community Policing. We had pretty much, at the time, we had Chief Donna Hansen come in. We were like, we need this in our community. We need community policing. We need a community voice. We need a voice representing agency to the community. We need to break this line of communication that we don't have. And we went out. We had to do it sometimes on our own time because the agency didn't give us time to do it because they were kind of like resistance to it. Old management kind of style was. So. Through the years progressed, I got everything involved all the way to the triage center to working with Ruth Cooper and different agencies. And the last 6 years I represented the employees, being president of the Florida PBA here in South Florida. I was pretty much the voice all my life of the community for the people that didn't have a voice for themselves. And the only reason I got involved in that is I wanted to try to make a difference in some way through the city or county governments to try to control spending, to try to control waste. A very conscious person, to the point where if I know there's something going on at work as far as the wasteful money, I have to say something, say we need to turn the lights off. There's no reason to do this. Well, why don't we do this to try to make a difference? And I always had good managers, supervisors that most of the time would listen to me to a certain extent, but they would pretty much, if they try to make an effort to change something, they would usually get stopped too. So why change it? If it's not broken. Everything from take-home card policy, whatever it may be, to try to make a difference, change the expenditures for the agency. Because I know at the bottom of the day, the expenditures for the agency, the budget is the most important thing for the agency to survive on. So don't want to keep dwelling on that, what I've done. I want to talk about what I want to do in the future of Lee County. That's why I'm here. And a lot of my past, though, I'm just trying to give you the background of my past, my passion to try to make a difference. And after this last year, I saw the local county commission of Lee County not working together, spending money without communicating better with the community, private entities pretty much controlling the scheduling or jobs, pretty much. In our economy, we've seen what's happened the last 3 years, all of us. Media, public service, education, servers in the restaurants, it's affected everybody's job. And if people don't realize that now, they need to wake up and realize what's happened in our local economy. And it's we need to work together. And my job is, and my theory is, what I want to do to the Lee County Commission is to work together as a board, the way it's designed to, bring consensus to the board. And if questions need to be asked, I will ask the right questions. I'm not new to pressure. I've lived in a glass house the last 26 years. And I will ask the questions, but I will be effective, I will be professional, and I will have conclusion at the end of the day.
When did you decide to run for county commission? Think back on when the moment was.
For this position,
Yeah.
probably about six, 7 months ago.
Okay. Any one thing said, okay, I'm...
Just when I started hearing the reserve money is being spent in the county, projects being done, when I know the tax base of the county is going down. The last 6 years of my job, well, actually the last 4 years of my job in 6 years when the TBA was dealing with budgets, expenditures. I know predictions for the future for taxes. I reduced the police department budget in 2008 with $3 million and still had a reduction in crime by restructuring. I knew what's going to happen next year with the tax base. I could do predictions between commercial and residential. Knowing where we're going to be at, we have to stop spending money. I've been saying the last 6 years to local cities and county governments, nicely, of course, we need to stop spending money. Not today, every day. We need to cut our expenses. If the tax rolls come in lower, we need to stop spending money. I'm not going to wait the 11th month of the year to stop spending money. And I realized, sir, 6 months ago that if I didn't get involved and try to make a difference on the other side of the table, nothing's going to change. And I wanted to try and make a difference, to work with the commission, to bring a consensus to the commission, to agreement that we need to prioritize our spending and take care of the county.
When it comes to cuts, everything's on the table.
Yeah, if you want,
including positions and salaries and benefits.
yes, sir. And one thing I've noticed, talking about cuts, yes. When I say departments, I was asked this question recently about the Commercial News Press. They asked a question about budgets, and I said each department has to be looked at line item by line item. Each department has to be cut. Now, I will tell you, there's some departments right now, me personally, without looking at the numbers today, I would not cut tourism development. Tourism, we need to keep tourism. With what's going on, thank God they stopped the old. We need to keep the tourism. If I could, I would probably increase their budget to keep tourism coming here. That's the third leg of our economy here, locally. We need to fill those rooms so we can pay for the Red Sox games, right? We got to fill those beds. So I would increase that if I could. Other departments that has a lack of service, what it may be, if it's either code enforcement, if it's economic, we need that. That's another issue. We need to look at each department line by line and decrease the budget. But I would hold each department manager accountable for that, to reduce their budget. And there's ways of doing that without doing layoffs, without furloughs. Okay, there's other ways of doing it. That's kind of a Band-Aid in a way. Okay, I've seen it happen in other cities and counties. The furloughs thing is a lot of times, it depends on which department you look at, it's a Band-Aid. If you really want to save money, you have to actually reduce the positions. If you lay off, you're going to have expenses up to 99 weeks now. Okay, thanks to the federal government for unemployment through attrition of those positions. Okay, and I give you one department for example. Lee County Sheriff's Department uses 15 to 25 people a month through people quitting, retiring, discipline, people just leave. As employees leave, you just don't fill those positions. You can restructure. If the employees are asked to do a little bit more, they will do it. They're just asked to do it. Waiting until the 11th month to say we're going to cut people, lay off people, that's, if it has to happen, it has to happen. So you got to remember, those are our neighbors and our consumers in our economy. So if you're laying these people off, you're going to have more vacant houses on your street. You're going to have less retail sales in your economy. And we're back to where we are now, actually worse. So there's ways to do it, but you have to do it throughout the year.
So not necessarily layoffs, but certainly don't refill positions that when people leave.
That's one way of doing it, is with that. Now, if you have to, you're at the you're at a week from in the budget hearing.
Yeah.
You have to do something. Yes, you have to do that. You have to cut positions. A lot of times the positions can be cut if they're unfilled already, unfilled positions. It's the same thing. When you actually lay off an employee that's currently working, the employers incur about a 38% cost still, so there's not really a total savings. I'd much rather lay off the positions that's not filled.
The Southwest Florida chapter of the PBA, that covers Collier Lee,
Yes, sir.
and that's the police officer, that's law enforcement officers.
That's law enforcement, FDLE, state troopers, corrections, any agents in the state attorney's office.
Okay, and then usually the firefighters, and they usually go along with do you have their support too?
Do I have their support?
Yes.
No, they're not doing any type of endorsement in this race. They have helped me, help me put signs up and everything. But as far as the PBA and the police, I'm not. All my volunteers are non-law enforcement. I'm trying to show everybody I'm not a one-issue person.
But the firefighters aren't,
Endorsed me.
are with you.
They're helping me put signs, but they're not physically giving me an endorsement. There's no written endorsement for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you invent this? That's the first time I've
This
ever
is
seen
it's a
this.
door hanger. I'm sorry. Was that in the folders?
Yeah, did you invent that?
Um,
That's a new one on me.
This is one of the door hangers I'm using. Actually, I used that one for the county. This was made up for the city of Fort Myers.
That's pretty
It's
cool.
got the mirrors on, letter from the mayor of Fort Myers. and the
But no,
sheriff.
I like this thing on the door.
Yeah. I do a lot of walking, so try to walk as much as I can. But Lee County is a big area.
Senator Bennett, what interest does he have down here?
I met Senator Bennett. His area goes from Colonial north to all north, up from Colonial
It
to.
reaches down that far.
Yes, sir. From Colonial up to Sarasota. I have met Senator Bennett. She's for about 5 years ago. I do a lot of travel between here and Tallahassee, and like I said, I work with a lot of local governments, counties and cities, and also with state governments. And that's a good thing for me. I have a relationship with state representatives, senators,
Yeah.
and it's not for. I have to. Somebody said something the other day about endorsements, and let me tell you my opinion on endorsements. If a professional elected official or professional business person wants to put their name behind me, I feel like it's an honor, because they're putting their life, their career, and their job sometimes on the line for my future career. I think I have turned down endorsements. I've turned down checks from people. Yeah, I'm just saying. But yeah, but people, I get questioned about that. Why I have so much support? And somebody says, I think it was a Editorial community council. They said, would you ever accept a check for your campaign from somebody they asked you to do something in the future? I said I would give their money back. I have lived my life where I couldn't accept a cup of coffee from a business owner because
Right.
I would get in trouble for it.
Right.
And I have lived my life with honor and integrity, and I sleep very well at night. And that's why I think I have the support I do, because people trust me.
What did we learn from the Don Stillwell experience?
Nobody's exempt. We're all equal. And my biggest thing has always been everybody should be treated fair, no matter what position you are. If you think you're above the law, above the rules and policies that governs your position, I think you've lost your
You mean about sending dirty emails?
Yeah, if you're concerned about that, yeah.
Okay.
Is that what you're referenced about, or the whole?
I'm always interested in the different
Yeah,
answers.
I personally have never met him. I've met him in person once or twice. I don't really know his work ethics as a county manager. I know he spent a long time here at Lee County.
Mhm.
I heard positive things about his professional job.
Mhm.
Anything else? I don't even know where the man lives at or anything.
Mhm. How's your outlook on impact fees these days?
That's a great question. I'm glad you brought that up. The biggest concern I've heard, even from business owners, even up to them, even you asked about when I decided to run for office. When I'm in my office 2 years ago working, okay, for the city of Fort Myers, I get business owners calling me, can you please help me? Can you help me set up a meeting with the county and the city? I get started building a business. After I started building my business, they tripled the impact fees. I cannot afford to pay my mortgage now. The business is not done. It's been a year. They returned my permits 12 times. Now they triple impact fees. I can't afford my doors. My biggest concern locally, I don't want to build, I don't want urban sprawl between here and the East Coast. I'm totally against that. That's why my colors are green. I'm very environmentally friendly. But to tell a business owner you're going to pay triple your impact fees now when you can't even afford to open the door, I'm against that. If we want to spur any type of new growth, okay, reasonable growth in Lee County, we need to go back to 06 impact fee levels before they tripled in 07. I know everybody at the time, I wasn't in that market as far as real estate, in building, but I know that the people that own property now cannot afford to build on it. If we wanted to get together today as all 5 partners and open up a fast food restaurant, we couldn't afford to pay the impact fees. Medical and fast food is the highest. It's like 70%, I think, for fast food, and that's why you see all these restaurants close up. They can't afford it. One thing I have been talking to is a lot of the business owners is if the county spread it out over 5 years instead of asking for money up front for the impact, spread it out over the 5 years so as they get into a business, they can prosper, they can afford to pay the county the impact fees over a 5-year period. Other counties in the country do that. It's called rear-ending it, basically bringing the money in at the end. Especially if you're in a development area where the impact's already been done, as far as sewer, roadways already been impacted, the impact fee is not going to be used for that certain area anyway.
Did the
Yes,
county
sir.
do right by the Red Sox deal?
You know, initially when the Red Sox deal happened, I was totally for it. I'm for any type of economic impact. We're going to bring more tourism here to Lee County. My concern was we should have the third team already in place before we decide to build a third. I've been here since when Terry Park was. I would work in the games at Terry Park in Kansas City Royals.
Right.
I watched the Central Florida being demolished and the Red Sox Stadium being built. I saw all the impact with that. Cleaned the area up really good. The area needed to be cleaned up. It was a good economic impact for the area. But I think it should have been more communication between the commission and the community, more involvement from the community side and from the commission side. I think it should be more communication about the expenditures and how much it's actually going to cost. Initially, I think was told $45 million is all being bed tax money. Last heard now it's $85 million. We're going to use reserve money for it. Bed money, bed tax, tourism money, I would have been totally supportive of that. Using reserve money to build that without knowing the future financial impact with the oil spill or anything else, I would not agree to that. I would have found other resources to pay for it. I think it should be more put back in the private sector. We should not let the private sector dictate with tax dollars how they're going to spend our money.
What's gonna happen to the city of Palms Park? That's your old beat, right?
Yes, sir. You know, I don't know. I know the pool issue's coming up.
Yeah.
Something has to be done. I do not want to see another vacant building sitting on any corner in Lee County. Something has to go there. Hopefully they can get a third team in there.
Yeah.
Central Florida needs it. The city of Florida needs it. They're hurting badly. They're still paying for that stadium after the county took over for maintenance. They're still paying for that. I think in 2014 the bonds are due. If the swim club came in there and did that, if they came in and paid the bonds off for the city of Fort Myers so they get released of that debt, that'd be really good for the city of Fort Myers. It'd be good for Lee County too. Hopefully that goes through. But again, I want to make sure we had a contract signed with a company that can finish the job, that can come in and provide a financial economic impact to the area. Don't want somebody to come in and start something they can't finish. And is the one thing I was going to say, you mentioned the Red Sox game. One of my main goals as a commissioner is to try to bring in more high skill, high tech jobs to certain areas of the county to provide jobs. My District 2, is basically from College Parkway to downtown, from the river to I-75. That area has been ignored through different city and county commissions and council people. Things start up, they never finish it. Promises are made, nothing's ever done. The only thing was completed that was started was the widening of MLK from I-75, and that was a state project. That's why it was completed. We watched 4 years ago. I was there for the grand opening for the county facility for the Tops grocery store, the substation. I came on my day off for that groundbreaking. Myself and Commissioner Bigelow were there together. I was there representing the police department, and the year and 4 months into it, the county decided they couldn't afford to pay the rent. So they pulled the substation out of there. Now we have another vacant building. There's a school there now, but there's no economic impact. There's no place for the residents to shop. There's no walking distance of stores. Where 25 years ago we had Knight's Grocery, we had different family markets that the residents could walk to, commute to. There was a bond in the community, in the Dunbar community, and they don't really have that anymore because there's no work in the neighborhood. There's nowhere really to shop. They have to get in the car and drive to Walmart or Palm Beach Boulevard to shop. So it's kind of deteriorated the community. My main goal is to create jobs in that area, and there is jobs in there. Anything south of Edison Avenue, South Street, Hanson Street, all that commercial property is vacant right now. there's businesses out here, pharmaceutical businesses, there are high-tech jobs that will come in and develop that property if the city or the county introduces them to it. And there's no, I don't see any communication between the city and county doing that. And being my district, which I'll be a county commissioner, but being my district, that's one of my goals, is try to bring economic impact to that area.
You say in your campaign literature that to ensure public safety, 34% of Lee County's operating budget says support human services. What do you mean, support human services?
Well, it's pretty much like I was talking about at the beginning of the day, was when I first came in, was human services is a very large department in the Lee County government. It's everything from mental illness to assistance.
Right.
Today's day and age, where everything's getting worse in the public, as far as citizens are more down and out, there's more people committing suicide, we do not, that's one budget I would not try to cut.
Because
It's
sometimes that's one of the first things on the chopping block,
Yeah,
right?
we need that more than ever now. There's more people living in the woods now than ever. There's more people that need assistance, and we need to provide that. I just took a tour the other day for the Harry Chapin Food Bank, which I was involved with before. They're on Alicia Street, and Joyce Jacobs and John Poker have done a great job there. They moved. Have you been to their new facility on Fowler Street? The place is beautiful. It's huge. It's nicer. It's cleaner inside there than it was Publix. You know, we need to work with those groups and provide assistance for the community. People are hurting. People out of job. There's not people just in the lower income area. There's I was talking to her yesterday. Somebody living in a gated, nice community that sold all their furniture. They sold pretty much all their clothes just to try to keep their house. They have a place to keep their kids. We need to provide assistance to those people, you know, until the economy recovers. And what I was saying about the public safety, you know, the budget's 34% of it, and the operating budget for employee costs is 80%. I'm the only one in the currently of all the commissioners are running for commission that has any experience with public, you know, HR relations or public service. And I think we should have a diverse commission, and we will have one. Is with Commissioner Judah's experience in marine biology, Commissioner Mann's experience and 40 years in a political career, you know, Tammy Hall's involvement, everything from housing authority to, you know, 8 years in the current county commission. We have a great diverse county commission.
When you look at the southern part of Lee County, and you look at Bonita and Estero and San Carlos Park, what do you see for the future governance? How would you plan to stay in touch with the South County?
Something I've always thrived on, and you can ask anybody, not just on my endorsement list, that knows me, and if you read some of the endorsement letters there, I got hundreds of them, and I only brought a few. When I'm involved with something, I stay involved. I go to meetings every month. Even though it's not my district, I'm old school. I will contact either Commissioner Man or Judah, wherever it's at, and say, hey, I'm going to do the meeting this week in your Estero Community Council. I'm going to go to the meeting. Just let you know. Kind of old school as far as chain of command. It's this district, but I'm going to let you know. And I want to be involved. I still involved with community groups. I still go to neighbor watch groups that I've been on for the last 10 years, even though I'm not working. It's my life. And I will stay involved with the different groups. I want to reach out to all the different cities, the city of Fort Myers Beach, Bonita Springs, Cape Coral, and work with the county and the city governments. That's when I heard, you know, 6 months ago you asked me one of the questions about why I decided to run for a county commission. When I heard the city of Cape Coral felt like they were being ignored, Bonita Springs looking for some representation, or Estero, whatever it may be, I was surprised to hear that we're not working. The commission and the city councils weren't working together. We're all here together. I mean, the people, when you drive home, you don't really know, you may know the boundaries. Most people don't know the boundaries between Fort Myers and Bonita Springs and Leah. Okay? We have to work together, the cities and counties governments. And the Lee County as a whole has to work with the local cities and give back to them. The city residents are being tool taxed. I'm a true believer that they're paying double fees, they're paying higher utility fees, and something that has to be come back to those city residents for that, from the county.
We're getting close to end of time. What have we forgot to ask you? What issue are you passionate about that we haven't touched on?
Well, everything I'm passionate about. This is it. You know, seriously, I am just. I cannot wait to do this job. I cannot wait to go to work and serve the people. And when I say that, I've done it all my life, and I've done it very well. And that's why I think I'm supported by so many different people in the county. And I will ask the right questions, and I will be effective, and I will, you know, have conclusions at the end of the day. And it's the way you ask questions on those and how you present yourself. you know, and I just cannot wait to go to work and serve the county, make it a better place.
Tell me what you mean by it's how you ask questions and present yourself. What do you mean?
Well, in the past, Commissioner Bigelow, who's I'm running for the seat for, I'm not running against him personally, I'm running for the seat. I know Brian, we went to school together, we're friends, you know, and I'm running for that. And sometimes the way he asks the questions, he's not effective, and sometimes the way he asks the questions, he doesn't get the answer he wants. And I will be more effective. I will get the answers, and I'll do it in a way that I will have conclusion in the day, what the questions may be.
So you ask a question.
If it's a budgeted question, if it's a question about a contract, if it's a question about actions based by an employee, for example, I'm gonna let people do their job. I'm gonna let the county manager's office do their job. But if there's a question about something, I will ask the question. People, if anybody who knows me, if you look at my past, you know I'm not afraid to stand up and voice my opinion or ask a question. I'm not gonna be a follower. You know, I want to be this person on the commission that's gonna be sent out in the community to represent the community as the commission, and hopefully, which I know I will, for the betterment of Lee County. If either jobs, if it's for the human services we're talking about, to represent the county.
As a Fort Myers police officer, to us from the outside, it looks like the Lee County Sheriff's Office and even county court systems took some steps after the Whitman case to try to fix that loophole. Are we correct in that perception, or there's still things?
As far as the release of the prisoner,
right, the catching of the catching of the warrant when it should have been caught.
Yeah, they did resolve that. The problem is the immigration laws, and that was not effective this year. They tried to get the women bill passed this year. Chief Baker was very adamant to get that passed, where people would be detained if they had a warrant and if they were illegal and not released. And I think last time I heard that bill did not make it through committee.
But he was, as the suspect in that case, or the perpetrator was Cuban,
Mm-hmm.
wasn't in a situation where, yeah, he came here illegally, but since he's Cuban, once he's here, wet foot, dry foot, once he's here, he's here.
I don't know the exact reasons why he was. I think there was a reason why he could have been deported. There was some felony warrants there. I don't remember exactly. It was a couple years ago.
But the Whitman bill included that. It also included, I think, it gives a judge more latitude on probation cases to say, you know what, you're going to be charged with violation of probation. I'm just going to hold you for now.
Right, and the state's main reason for that was because of the costs. It all comes back to costs. How many people are we going to be able to detain? Do we have the facilities to detain people? It's not that it's not right or wrong. Do we have the facilities to detain them? And it all comes back to cost. And that's the problem. Like right now in Carter County and Lee County, the jails are pretty much probably 25% of the population are illegal immigrants, and there's nothing to do with them. People don't realize that we're paying for that every day as taxpayers, and they can't detain them. And you cannot send them back where they belong, either Canada, South America, Guatemala, Mexico, wherever they're from.
Is this your first run for public office?
Yes, sir, it is.
But as president of the police, is that an elected?
Yes,
Do you
I was-
actually have elections for that?
Yes, so I was elected, and I was actually in my second term, and I am going to be resigning from that position currently. I would have resigned a few months ago, but I did not because we were in the middle of contract negotiations, which we were able to come to conclusion last month with a reduction of pay of 5.25 for the city employees. I didn't want to walk away from that once I started something. Would have been the right thing for my career to run a campaign or do this. Well, I did what's right, and that would have been the right thing, not to abandon employees. But I will be resigning from that. Just trying to figure out either we're going to appoint somebody to buy the position or they're going to do another election. But I initially was put in that position. I never went to meetings before. I never got involved. I was asked for the city side and the employee side to be the person to run because they wanted somebody to be the spokesperson, be their voice. And I was like, I don't even go to meetings. Why you ask me to do it for? And I went unopposed last time. And I'm very confident that if I got elected Lee County Commission that I would be probably unopposed too in 4 years from now.
Really?
We'll see what
Cecil,
happens though.
We're out of time. We really
Thank
appreciate
you
you taking yours.
Thank you
Thank you very much for coming.